Some water. Keep that situation. Just Heavenly Father, I pray that you go before this message for me and to go with you, God. Pray that you give me the words to say. Pray the hearts of people to hear what I have to say. In Jesus' name we pray. Hallelujah. Oh, okay, go. Okay.
All right. Shalom, saints. Welcome to the KGB Live Show with your host, Brother Kabir. Hallelujah. Well, saints, we got a great show for you guys tonight. The title of the live show tonight is Men and Women Are Not Equal. Change my mind. So obviously this is a controversial topic for most, but if you're in the faith, it shouldn't be that hard to wrap your mind around. But yes, we are going to be starting tonight. First, we're going to start with a few announcements and just kind of looking back at our week here. So last week, the last KGB Live Show we had was titled, You Might Be Married and Not Know It. Make sure you guys go and check that out. That was another good, informative, teaching from Brother Kabir, speaking of the differences between common law and statutory law. So if you guys missed that, make sure you guys go back and check it out on the channel. We also had the Berean moment this past week, titled Proving Pastor Dow Wrong with our brother Ray. Brother Ray did an extraordinary job. He did a great job just explaining his testimony, and it was very eye-opening to hear his perspective from someone who is not so much influenced by Western mindset. So make sure you guys go check that out if you guys missed that. Last Shabbat, Pastor Dow brought a great message titled Dedication. If you guys missed that, make sure you guys go check that out on Straightway Tech Team YouTube channel. It's also on Brother Daryl's YouTube channel. You guys can get caught up on there. He usually puts the messages up pretty quickly right after Shabbat service. But yeah, that's pretty much this week what we had. And that's pretty much. I don't have too much more. How you doing, Brother Kabir?
All right. Welcome to the KGB Live Show. We got a great show for you guys. Today, we're going to be talking about men and women are not equal. And I hope that you guys will participate and try to change my mind. But I have gone around to the store, wherever I go, just asking people, do you believe that men or women are equal? And I cannot believe. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a professing Christian, a worldly person. They all think they're equal. And we have a problem here because if we're equal, who is an authority? So we're going to learn about just the different type of sayings out there. We got the patriarch rule. We got egalitarianism. And we got the feminism, and then we got another one called complementarian, which I think is a weak form of patriarch, just trying to appease the egalitarian. So anyway, it's a covert egalitarian, pretty much. So, but we're going to go through all of those definitions. And so one of the things I wanted to show you guys here is that with much authority comes responsibility. We all know that Yah gave the man the responsibility to rule. And because they gave men the responsibility to rule, they are the one that that has the authority. And that's why and the woman, her job is to help, be the helpmeet to the man. We have scriptures. I'm going to go through some of the different scriptures, like in 1 Corinthians, Genesis. I'm going to go through all of the different ones just to kind of support my saying here. But I wanted to start off, and I found a thing on YouTube, and we are going to post it on the end of this in the description below. And also, too, I want to encourage you guys to listen to the last show, Sister to Sister. Last week, it was on Pastor Dow's channel. With co-host Sister Ashley and Sister Jennifer. They did a great job. It was talking about the role of a woman. These are from a woman's perspective, and it's one of my favorite show. even behind KGB show. But please check out the show, Sister to Sister. It was done on the Pastor Dow channel. So I want to encourage you guys to please check that out because they talk about the very things that we're going to be talking about. But I'm going to just have a different spin to it. But they were just talking about the role of a woman, and it was some very thought-provoking questions, and they gave some thought-provoking answers and challenging answers. It was very impressive to hear it from women, two women that I know personally, great women. How they talked about their master, their husband. It was just amazing, and how they answered the question. But anyway, I want to show this chart. You guys can kind of see it here, but here is a chart that shows on one side you see authority, and then at the bottom you see responsibility. So with more responsibility, with more authority comes responsibility. Now, depending on where you fall, if you have less authority and less responsibility, you're going to be apathetic. That's where you're going to be. Now, if you're one that have a lot of authority and less responsibility, you're going to be tyrannical, harsh. Wow. And then if you have more responsibility but less authority, you're going to be frustrated. And I can tell you right now, there's many men that I know that are frustrated. They rather be at work where they can be a man. They rather do anything, but when they come home frustrated. And this is some of the things that they talk about, sister, that your husband shouldn't be coming home frustrated. And then up here, it's called engage. When you have the authority and the responsibility, you're going to be engaged. And so we're going to go through all of the different, and you can probably tell which one falls into what, but I'm going to show you all the different rule that is happening. So anyway, what do you think about that chart, David?
I like that. I think it sets a really good, good example. I don't know about you, but I'm a visual learner.
Yes.
So I like seeing diagrams like that. Yes. It helps my understanding a little bit better.
So I can give you guys definition and read it, but you guys can look this thing up. But I just wanted to show you, this is the chart. So feel free to pause it when, obviously when you watch it again, and then you can kind of get this. But we're going to put the video where I got this from. So I can't take credit for it, but I thought it was such a great visual that I want to. So anyway,
I think you made a really good point in the beginning, what you said in the beginning about when Yah created man and woman, he gave the authority to the man. And so therefore he had the greater responsibility. Yes. And I think people just don't understand that nowadays. I mean, Christian churches, they teach you the opposite, right? They teach you that you have the authority, but you don't have the responsibility. And according to that chart, you're going to be frustrated. Yes.
And so when you think about this Bible, guys, if you notice when you read this, if you ever never taken the chance to read this Bible, the scripture, the epistles, the gospel, it was written to men, because men had the responsibility to carry out the instructions of the Torah, the letters written to men, and the gospels. All of this was direct to men, because the men are supposed to be the priest of their home. The desire, the woman's desire was unto the husband, and he would rule over her. He was given instruction. The commandments, even the first commandment was given to Adam, not Eve. It was given to Adam. Adam gave the commandment to Eve about the not touching from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And so I'm going to go, this is ideal. This is what we're looking for. It's called patriarchal rule. This is patriarchal rule. Now, I kind of tried, and I hope I use the right signs, but this is the female sign and this is the male sign. Now, you can see here when you have patriarchal rule, and I'm using both the female and the male sign here. So you can see the male is on the side where, if you know originally when I told you, engage. So I hope you guys can remember my chart. You see that? Engage. So I put the man. So when the man has complete authority and complete and all responsibility and all authority, he is engaged. He's engaged in the word. He's engaged in his family. He is engaged in the process, because he is responsible for how well he rules his home. And the woman is in the apathetic thing. Naturally, she was not created to handle responsibility. If you notice, there's women just struggle with taking responsibility. They just struggle with being responsible for things that they do wrong. Have you ever seen a woman? We were listening to a show where a woman literally was a whore. She was a slut, and she admitted it. She admitted it on the show. Admitted it, and the whole time she excused her behavior and said she is not a slut, and that there was some type of reason for why she had an affair or cheated on her boyfriend.
It happened, but I didn't mean it. And I feel really bad about it.
Yeah, so she mentioned how she felt bad about it, didn't mean it. And the guy says, no. Hurricanes happen. Earthquake happens. You opening your legs, you made that happen. I mean, so anyway, I just thought that was a funny show. But anyway, so the woman is going to be in the apathetic role, which that's her job. That's why Yah calls a woman to be the helpmeet. Her job is to help the man fulfill his job, as he is the one that has the authority and the responsibility for the direction of the family. And if you notice, even children will be in that position too. Have you ever remembered that saying where I remember my dad used to say, when you guys get older, like, I remember when my dad would buy a new car. We bought a new car and we putting our foot on the seat and we breaking everything. Oh. And we're not thinking about the cost because we didn't buy it. It's just there. We just messing it up. And my dad said, stop hitting this. And he would, spank us and chew us out for messing up his stuff. And it wasn't until I got older and I got my own car, all of a sudden it's like, I now understand what my dad was talking about. When you work for something and you're responsible for something, the game changed. And if you notice, as we got older in life, especially as men, as you got older, more responsibility, more authority. You was given more authority, and that should happen with much. What was it in that movie, that superhero movie? I remember it was a Spider-Man movie, and the father says, "With much power comes great responsibility." That is a true statement. So here is the patriarchal rule. So when you're in the patriarchal position, you're going to see the man's engaged and the woman's going to be in the apathetic. All right. There's a term called egalitarianism. Now, the church that I used to go to was called Living Hope Church. And that was an egalitarian church. I didn't know it at the time, but I finally found out that it was an egalitarian church. And egalitarian means that the man and the woman are equal. That's why you get the word egalitarian. Here's the word so you can see how to spell it. Egalitarian. That means the man and the women are considered equal when it comes to authority. They have equal authority, but the responsibility is on the man more than is on the woman. So the woman have less responsibility, but the man has more responsibility. So he still has the same responsibility as a patriarch, but his authority has now been diminished because he's given his strength. Proverbs 31:3, don't give your strength over to a woman. He has now given his strength to the woman, and now they have equal authority.
So now you can see he's in between engaged and frustrated.
So he's in between engaged and frustrated. But
and
so you can
between tyrannical.
Nickel. So the woman moves up from the apathetic, and now she's moving towards tyrannical. Now now you guys got to understand, this is a slippery slope. It never ever is a true egalitarian. I'm telling you right now, I do not believe egalitarian truly exists. You're always going to have a leader. It's either going to be the man or it's the woman. If you hear that's an egalitarian, I'm telling you right now, it means the woman is ruling. Happy wife, happy life. This is no different than the next stage we're going to. And here's the next one. Feminism. This is feminism. It's totally opposite of patriarch. So you can see here, now the woman has now moved into the into tyrannical role, and now the man has moved into the frustrated role. So he has all the responsibility, but now he has no authority. And the woman has all authority, but none of the responsibility. Just like, you got these people now divorcing. I'm one of them. So I still have all the responsibility of still providing for my ex-wife and my children. I got to come up with $8,000 a month, every month, to provide for their lifestyle. They took half of my, all of my sweat equity, everything I work for. I am still responsibility, but I have no authority. That's what happens when you get a marriage license. Learn from me. Do not get the marriage license. It does not pay for a man to get a marriage license, or you're going to end up frustrated right here. And then the woman would become tyrannical. She does not care. She will destroy. Remember, I told you the analogy of the hawk. Remember, I was saying that last night, last show, that the woman is emotional and she will rip and tear everything apart. So she has all this power, but she's not thinking anything she's not thinking about the responsibility of destroying. She's just not thinking about it. She just wants what she wants. And so this is what happens when you move into a feminist. So pretty much egalitarian. I don't think egalitarian really exists, but that's just what they say to make us men feel like we still have something. But really, egalitarian is really feminism, straight up. So any church, if you're going to a church that is an egalitarian church, they're pretty much a feminist church. And then you got, and I didn't draw up complementarian, but complementarian is pretty much saying the same thing. They say that men or women are different, but have different roles. So they're a covert patriarch, but it really isn't, because it's really a egalitarian / feminist. So the woman rules in that.
It's like
so
between the patriarch and egalitarian.
Egalitarian, and so pretty much, yeah. So if it's lukewarm, it's just always go down. So patriarch is the highest level, and then you got egalitarian and feminism. It just goes down. So if anything is not really declaring their role, it's pretty much egalitarian, but the woman rules. So if it's not patriarch, then everything goes to the woman. The woman rules. So I was talking to a woman today. I went to go, make a payment for my car getting fixed or something, and I asked the woman. I said, who do you think is what world is it? She said, I think it's a man's world. I said, really? So I asked her about her boss. I said, who has the final say? And she said, well, we're all equal here. I said, really? Even though he's the manager? She says, yep, we are all equal. The only time that he will have authority if the customer has a complaint. I said, really? So who can determine this thing all gets shut down? She finally told me the person's name. I said, okay, are you equal to him? She says, no, I am not equal to him. I said, are you sure you're not equal to him? She says, nope, I am not equal to him. He is the boss. I said, why are you not? She said, because I don't have final say. And so then I asked her, I said, are you married? She said, she's married. And I said, how about this? She says, well, it depends on who you ask. I said, it depends on the culture you're in. And this woman I happen to be talking to happens to be half Mexican and half Italian. And so she says, if I was in the Mexican culture, I'll be cooking and cleaning. That's what she said. She's kind of made it sound like it was a bad thing. Our sisters don't think it's a bad thing, but she made it sound. But if it's Italian, she made it very clear in Italian that women are feisty and pretty much women run the show. So her mama was Italian and her daddy was Mexican, and pretty much mama ran the home. So anyway, guys, I want to open up to questions. Tell me what you guys think. But hey, change my mind. I don't believe that men or women are equal. And I tell you, it's amazing that when you talk to these people, they get upset. They don't like the idea to think that a woman is as if they're demeaning. They say that it feels like the women are demeaning, that they have no worth. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying that the woman do not have, just like the president of the United States. If the president of the United States, you don't see them having Secret Service for the president of the United States, and then they have a Secret Service for the cook. You just don't see that. I mean, if the cook gets shot, okay, it'll be sad. They'll have a nice funeral, boom, boom, boom. But when the president goes down, that changes everything. Have anybody ever played the game chess? And I'm going to end on this. Have anybody ever played the game chess? The game continues as long as the king is alive. You can take out the queen, and the queen, she can do a lot of moves. She is very powerful. She can destroy you from pieces. The game is not over until you take out the king. Once you take out the king, it's checkmate, game over. And it's the same thing in life. So anyway, do we have any questions?
So I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So what do you say to people who might find themselves in these different categories? Obviously, other than patriarch, because if you find yourself in that category of patriarch, then you're in the right place, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they find themselves in a category of egalitarianism or a feminist relationship with a woman, what would you suggest these brothers would do to move themselves back into a patriarchal? What would be your best advice?
Well, first thing is, if you are frustrated, and I experienced that for 16 years. I was frustrated. trying to lead my home to the best of my ability, but always had to deal with a contentious woman. She did it privately. She never did it publicly where people can see it. So people thought she was a submitted, good woman, but behind closed doors, it was very contentious. And it took me to this point to realize what type of situation I was in. But first of all, you have to recognize, a lot of people say, well, you may even have guys say this, Brother David. You may have guys says that, I don't mind. I don't have to, be in control. My wife, I don't mind making my wife happy. It doesn't bother me. Okay, that is good. But here's the problem that you run into. If you go to 1 Corinthians, this is what's at now. If you this, and I'm talking to people who are Yah-fearing people. If you're not Yah-fearing, then this does not pertain to you. So, but if you go to 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, I'm going to read something here. Here is it's a sin. It's a sin if the man is not the head. And I'm going to show you why it's the head. It goes right here, says this in verse 2. Let me start at 3. It says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man. And the head of Christ is God, right? Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonor his head. But every woman that prays and prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head. For that is one as if she were shaven. So here's the deal. When a man has his head covered, he dishonors his head. Based off what I just read, who's the head of man? Jesus. Jesus is the head of man. So so if you have the woman leading you, you are dishonoring Jesus. That's what you're doing as a man. So you can't look at it as, well, it's not up to me. Now, if you want to deal with the consequences of dishonoring the Most High, knock yourself out. But that's what's really happening here. And so you got to take this thing very serious and say, okay, hey, it's not like I'm saying I want to be the head because I want to be the honcho. And you should want to be the honcho because you're responsible for the family. But it's more than just saying I want to be the man for the sake of just I want to be the man. It's saying I need to be the man because I need to honor Jesus. And so you need to start changing from a feminist or from an egalitarian and start moving to a patriarch and start seeing what the word has to say. So just make the change, repent, consider what you've been doing as a sin, confess it, because it's idolatry. It's really idolatry that you're doing. You're worshiping the woman. Man was not created for the woman. If I keep on reading here, it says it right here. It says, for indeed, verse 7, for indeed the man, it says, for the man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much he is the image and glory of God. But the woman is the glory of man. For the man is not for the woman, but the woman for the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. So woman was not created. I mean, you were not created for the woman. You've heard this thing. Have you ever heard this saying that we were created for each other? No, we weren't created for each other. The man was created for Yah. The woman was literally created for the man. It is totally backwards. It would be like me putting a car on my back and start doing a bear crawl and taking my car wherever it needs to go. People will look at me like I've lost my mind. You can honestly say I'm probably dealing with CTE. I think you can honestly say that. So, but that's crazy. No, the car was created for me, just as a woman was created for me as a man. I wasn't created for them. My desire is unto Jesus Christ, and he is to rule over me. The woman's desire should be unto the man, and he will rule over her. So just change. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yes, sir. No, that was a great response. What do you see? I guess you see what's happening in society right now. You see the generation that we're dealing with. Mm-hmm. I mean, is there any hope? Is there any hope for these young boys that are being raised in feminist homes and egalitarian homes? Can a boy or a young man who's raised to have beta tendencies, can he become an alpha at one point? Does that have hope?
There's hope. It's a change of mind. You got to change your mind. You got to be the renewing of your mind. You got to start following this instruction. The Bible gives us instructions on how to do it. Right now, we live in a society where the children are the oppressor, and the women are ruling over them. And so one of the things that we're running into is that a lot of these men our boys are growing up being raised by women. And it kind of reminded me of the Willie Lynch letter. You should go, if you never read the Willie Lynch letter, it's the way you keep a slave submitted to the government, to the white man. And it's there, guys. I mean, I can't make this thing up. And so now you got these men growing up to be strong, but they're effeminate, or they have a weak mentality where they don't know how to rule. And the woman grows up learning not to trust the man. And that's what's happening to, I know, my people, but that's what's happening in society. Men are now grown up to think more like a woman instead of a man. And so but eventually patriarch is going to come back into style again. It's gonna, when the king comes, and if it's not when the king comes, it's going to naturally fall back, because things are going to start going haywire as women continues to take more authority with no responsibility, because they're going to mess up. I had a friend that he's went through a divorce. He's already gone through a divorce. His wife had the children at the time. And I think she had him for 2 years, and the children just start getting really, crazy, just really going crazy and being disobedient. And she wanted her own freedom. She felt tied down. And eventually, after she ran this dude through court, just messed everything up, she went to the court, gave the children back to the father. Now the father's playing cleanup. He's now cleaning. He's doing damage control. And now she's out whoring around and doing her thing now, because she didn't want the responsibility of dealing with those children. She rather just be able to have the authority, the power, but not the responsibility. And now the man is now dealing with just basically damage control, just clean up after she's caused all the damage. So it's crazy. But there's hope. Hey, you're looking at him. I'm alive, and I can tell you right now, I would never, ever go back to being in a feminist relationship, in a egalitarian relationship, and I am a patriarch for life. You hear me? For life. Okay, not going back. So if I can do it, you can do it. And so just want to encourage you, but you got to get in this word. Be part of a strong ministry like Straightway Truth. Straightway Truth empower men to stay in the patriarch rule. Pastor Dowd does a great job. He takes young men, young boys, and turn them into men. And he has great elders and deacons and teachers to also continue to support that. And great sisters that support men and create an atmosphere that men understand who they are in Christ, that they are the patriarch. They are to rule. And so, but that's very strong, because if you're part of a weak church, because I thought when I was in Christianity, I thought we were a patriarch rule. I thought that I was the head, but I did not have the support. And when it was time to enforce my authority, I had no support. I was taken out, but literally unjustly. I was taken out with the testimony of one woman. One woman was able to destroy everything. What does it say in Proverbs 14:1? A wise woman builds her house, but a foolish woman plucks it down with her own hands. And I can say, I literally seen that scripture fulfilled right before my very eyes. And I went to the Christian church at the time, no support. They supported her because the church that I went to was an egalitarian church. And if the church is an egalitarian church, what is the church really is?
Feminism.
It's a feminism. It's a feminist church. So I did not have the support, but my ex-wife had all the support to be able to enforce her authority, but they still expect me to be responsible. It's crazy, people.
So I guess we'll start wrapping it up, but we'll end on this one. So I guess a few people have asked already, what should be, I guess, the biblical process to trying to find a woman when you have so many of these women that are tainted nowadays? So many women who are in the mindset of a feminist mindset. Is there hope for that too? I mean, are there women out there that can come under that role of patriarchism? What's the biblical order to find a woman? How do you find that? How do you?
Is it from the man or from the woman's perspective?
From the man's perspective.
From the men, stay away from a woman that does not have cover, guys. It's interesting, and I can't wait to share it one day, but. Guys, let me tell you, there's something to a woman, if a woman have no respect, a telltale sign has no respect for her father, she will not have respect for you.
You mean earthly father? Right?
Earthly father, yes. If she does not have any respect for her earthly father, and I'm not talking about like, oh, it's cute. If it's like a, like a flirtatious type of deal where daddy is just, the daughter can't do no wrong, that is a telltale sign what your relationship is going to look like. That daughter learned how to manipulate and wrap her father's around her finger. And so you don't want that. You want to be with you want to be with a woman that has a patriarch father, one who rules his house well, where have his wife under his authority, the children under his authority. In the Hebrew culture, for a man to even approach a woman, he is to go to the father. You go to the father and you work out pretty much a father will vet you. If you don't have a father or some type of male figure like an elder or pastor vetting you before you even approach the woman, it's a very good chance that that woman has no cover. She will not be a suitable wife for you, straight up. So if you find these women who are loose, she will cause you hell, straight up. So guys, I'm telling you, my ex-wife had no respect for her earthly father. He was just on the side, the mother ruled. She was a covert narc, and she ruled the house, even watching her brothers, seeing that all the brothers submitted to their wife. And that was overt. I could see it. I could like, wow, all the women in this family, all her brothers are ruled by the women. The women complete, even the gay one, her gay brother, even the man is the rule. It was bad. I saw it, but I just thought like, well, I'm different. Well, because it was so overt, I thought I was different, but the whole time I was no different than all my ex-brother-in-laws. I was the only difference is it was covert. I didn't know it was happening. At least those guys knew that they didn't have to say that what they say, mama's boss, and mama ain't happy. No one's happy, right. When you go home, she's the boss. Happy, yeah. So anyway, so look at the father. Look at her relationship with her father. And if she doesn't have a father due to death or sometimes some people just come from bad homes. But if a woman is willing to submit to the authority, like in a community setting, we have sisters that are in community settings. They may be widows, they may be single, but they're willing to submit under a man or under the community. Those are people that I would say you have a better chance of having a better finding a good wife than those who don't have a cover. So
that's good.
Pretty much a woman without a cover dishonors her head. Mm-hmm. So some people say, well, how about if she's single? Well, then she belongs to the father, right? And so if she's going around for, doing her thing, she's dishonoring her father. Yes, so
sir. Well, hallelujah, brother. Thank you again for making yourself available and sharing your thoughts. I know I need it.
Yes, sir.
We need it. And it's a blessing and an honor and a pleasure. Saints, we'll end it with this, guys. So Thursday at 6 p.m., Sister to Sister will be back on. I'm not sure if they're going to be going live on Pastor Dow's YouTube channel again, but just be on the lookout for that. You guys really don't want to miss it. Even for the brothers out there, if you want to find out
about women,
the standard of the standard you should hold your wife at, listen to Sister to Sister. They tell on their sister. They tell on themselves. They tell on women. So if you want to get into the mind of a woman, listen to that show. Also, coming up, the Maria moment with Brother Ray is coming up, part 2. So stay on the lookout for that on Wednesday. Part 2 should be a knockout. Brother Ray did a really good job.
Good job.
Also, Blog Talk Radio with Pastor Dow Friday night at 7 p.m. If you guys have any questions, if you've been trying to call the dining hall, make some effort to call in during Blog Talk, and Pastor could possibly get to your message live if you're willing to share your question live, I guess. Other than that, Shabbat at straightway.com on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Central time. Yes, sir. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for all the support for Brother Kabir's channel. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode. Last word, Brother Kabir.
Hey guys, and another thing, I got somebody on my YouTube saying that, hey, I need help. Hey, you guys called the dining hall. That's why some of my YouTube channels, we put the number on there. Call. That's what the elder's job is, especially Elder Becker. That's his job, is to help and put you into connection with somebody that can help you.
Even
So
if you got to call 5, 10,
guys, I did it. The reason why I called, I talked to a whole bunch of sisters before I finally got to an elder. I think it was Pastor Dow. I got a hold of him on his show finally. So just want to encourage you. We are here to truly help you. If you're trying to keep the commandments of Yah, truly are trying to live this thing out, we are here to help. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. Shalom, shalom.